Hey, today we are looking at the heart center. So the heart center is actually connected to the throat, it's connected to the G center, it's connected to the emotional center, and it's connected to the spleen center, which is our, that solar plexus. I'm looking at things back to front. That's the spleen over there. That's the solar plexus over there. All right, so the heart center is all about your willpower, your ego, your sense of value. And if you've got that center defined, then you are going to be the type of person who has the energy of let's go, let's get this done, let's go. It's a motor center, so it's got a lot of it's got its own energy powering it, and it is, I actually have an open heart center, so mine is how do we say, it's not valuing myself, it's underpricing, it's an open center, which, as we spoke about the other day, is a center where we learn lessons. So the lessons that I'm learning through this heart center, ego center, is how to value myself, how to that's probably the big one. How to value myself, how to set my pricing in a way that is authentic to me, and that comes back to using the strategy and authority. So what pricing is right for me, what feels right, what can I, because it's I have the emotional authority, what pricing can I let process through my emotional wave to see what feels right for me. So that's an example of how it all comes together, like your open center, having a lesson, using your strategy and authority to make it all come together. And so it's we have an awareness once we understand our human design, we have an awareness of how our energy is operating, so that we can then see what is the lesson. Having said that, we do live in a very conditioned society where we've all gone to school. We've all been taught that we need to ask permission to go to the bathroom. We need to ask permission for this, for that, for the other. And so we're all conditioned through our heart center to give our authority away, to trust other people's values more than our own. So while we do have the open center learning the lessons, the defined center may also have lessons to learn because of that conditioning. But yeah, values, worth, willpower. A good example that has been shared with me is Tony Robbins has this ego center or heart center defined. So it makes sense when he's up there on stage, his energy is pouring out to the audience with all that willpower. Like, we can do this. And all of us with an open heart center are taking in that energy and amplifying it. So we're like, of course I can do this. And then when you're out of that energy, it's like, oh, I know I can do it, but where did my willpower go? That's a really good example and a clear example of how somebody else's energy influences your open centers. But again, it always is going to come back to your core things, core elements of your strategy, the way that you interact with the universe. I'll go through them again. So for the generators, it's responding. Manifesting generators, responding and informing. Manifestors, you're going to be informing about what the urge is that you're going to be moving forward with. Projectors, you're waiting for the invitation or waiting for the recognition. And reflectors, you are sampling the energy and seeing where it is right for you to, you're feeling your reflectors. Where am I going with this? Yeah, reflectors are sampling the energy, and if it's a good space for you to to be sharing, then go ahead and share. If it's making a decision, you're going to be waiting for that lunar cycle. And the lunar cycle thing, I've heard from reflectors in podcasts and things like that, where it was a big piece of information to take on, that they have to wait for a lunar cycle. But as they practice it and slow down and actually notice the energy of the moon as it goes through the phases of the 28 days, then they really get to tune into who they are and what is their energy versus what's influencing them from the outside. So if you are a reflector watching this and new to human design, then that's something to take on board. So strategy, authority, open centers, we're going to be learning lessons, seeing where we can take the lesson of that center. Also, with the open centers, because we are feeling other people's energy coming in, we can also be intuitive about that energy and their needs in that space. So that's a really good place of service. That goes with all of the centers where you're open. And with the defined center is understanding your power and the way your energy is operating in that center, and understanding also that your energy is broadcasting. And so if you've got that real drive, that motivation, and you're seeing other people aren't so motivated, then you can be like, oh, actually, I have a defined heart center. I have that motivation. Now, only about 30% of the population have that. So 70% of the population don't have that. So you'll be able to be like, oh, okay, so that's why they're not as motivated as me. I can cut them some slack. I can give them some compassion, because we're not all created the same. We are all created valuably and uniquely, but we've all got different elements that are activated in our unique energy blueprint. So I'm going to wrap it up there for today. Tomorrow we might move on to the emotional center, the solar plexus. That could be fun. We'll see how it goes. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.